Hey, Cherokee. I was just sitting here waiting for everybody to come in. I was about ready to send a link over to Discord, but I don't even have Discord up. Hold up. I'll be right there. Oh my gosh, it's so slow. Okay, I'm back. Just put a link over there just in case anybody's in there. But I think the last comment that's in Discord is from you. How you doing, Cherokee? I got Native American music playing in the background. I don't know if you can hear it. Am I buffering at all? Okay, good. It's funny what I'm going to be talking about, and my eye just started doing this like muscle thing. It's like right on cue. Yeah, I'm going to wait a little bit just to see if anybody else comes in. There was a certain person, and I can't remember her name, that actually requested live, so I'm basically doing it for her. But usually these kind of topics, I like to record them ahead of time. So praise the Lord. I saw what you said on Discord. That's awesome. I'll keep praying for you. There goes that eye again. You can't see it, but I can feel it. It's like, I don't have my glasses on, so I probably look really strange. You're welcome. But they probably have a glare. Let's see. Yeah, see, I don't like that glare right there. But if I have trouble seeing, we're going to have to deal with the glare. I can go without my glasses. It's just, might get a headache from reading. Let's see if we could see. There's my crutch, and there is my dog Gracie right behind me. She's not feeling too good. She's been in pain. And she's high right now on medicine. Poor thing. She's just like, where's everybody? I even put it further out in the morning so that people had time. I might just start. Well, that's what happens when you have a small channel, huh? I think I've been under 200 for the last 2 months. It's okay. This is another reason why I prefer recording, because I'm not big enough yet to have like a big live thing. So I just wait another minute or two. I know, but there's other ones that, other channels that have, that Adam's done a shout out for, and they're already up in the thousands, and they started after me. So it's kind of discouraging, but whatever. You know what? If one person's blessed by anything I talk about, that's a win. So I'm trying to have a better attitude. But maybe I'm boring. Well, I just put a shout out to everyone on Discord, see if anybody will show up. But I'm probably going to get started. So I had a kind of, well, I don't know if she really purposely recommended, but one of my subs, yeah, I guess in its own time, Cherokee. One of my subs had said that she would love to hear more about my, I guess, journey with, putting it nicely, with fibromyalgia. And then any successes I've had and like how I handle it and stuff like that. Unfortunately, I don't have that many successes because I'm just recently now trying to change some stuff and get myself better. So I'm kind of working within and out. So I figured if I start working within, the within is going to help the out. Makes sense. So I thought, you know what, maybe I'll do a daily vlog on that. And then, you know, it's been really hectic around here because I have started a business. It's not going well yet, but I have to learn to be patient. So I've been making jewelry, and I can show you guys some of the things I've been making. See if I have anything good here. I think all my good pieces are actually on the dining room table. Well, here is a bumblebee bracelet. Ta-da! This is more of my cutesy item, but a lot of my stuff is a little bit more mature looking. So this is made out of a bicycle spoke. Yeah. If you hold up, I'll go grab my other ones. You might see my fat butt. Excuse me. Oops. I'm not supposed to insult myself. I am beautiful. I have a beautiful big butt. Be right back. Of course, during the live stream. Here I am limping away, my wonderful broken foot. Ooh, it's all Cherokee. You're stealing the show in there in that chat room. So here's some of my bracelets. So this is a steampunk heart bracelet. Ta-da! Yep. I am on Etsy under Raven and Dove Art to Wear, just in case you're interested. And here's another heart one, and I have a silver just like it. Ta-da! This one's a little bit like different shape heart, you know. Then we have a plain heart for the minimalists. Another steampunk. This kind of looks like Anunnaki kind of stuff right here. Not done on purpose. Infinity. And then I have an infinity with wings and some crystals on it. I don't know if you can see it very good. Ta-da! And anything else? Oh, I have like just a little steampunk one, again, for the minimalists. And another heart with a bead. Ta-da! Oh, cool. I'm actually in the process of making my first man bracelet. Oh, it's in my I got a vise because these things aren't easy to oh Lord, they're not easy to bend and stuff. Although the new spokes that I got, ow, I always hurt my finger. So this one I'm working for men. So it can be plain like this, or we can put some really cool rocks and stuff like that, which I got all sorts of stuff right here. And these are actual rocks, you know, like your jaspers and things like that. So I got a bunch of different stuff, and I do other jewelry. Right now I have a shop out in the main road out here. It's called Farmer's Chic, really cute store. And they rent little booths for people, but because, you know, jewelry makers don't need a huge booth to sell their stuff. I mean, we wouldn't make any money. What she does is her daughter has a booth and she'll rent out space in her daughter's booth. So for $10 a month, I have a little cubby that displays all my jewelry, and I got all different kinds of jewelry. I got faux sea glass. I also have different earrings, a lot of steampunk pieces, and all that wonderful stuff. So, and I like to work a lot with feathers and things too, and wings. So anyway, hopefully it'll catch on and people will buy stuff because I can't work. I'm too inconsistent with this stupid fibromyalgia. Hopefully we can get me in a better place, right? So, well, with that, I've plugged my shop on Etsy. Check it out. Anybody that watches this video. I do love making this jewelry. I think it's important for those who are going through any type of autoimmune issue or fibromyalgia to have some type of outlet. Something that when you're even feeling pretty bad, but not bad enough where you're bedbound, that's really bad. That's when you're not even good at hiding it from people that you're not feeling well. But on those days where even if you're just sitting on your recliner and there's something that you can just, you know, keep yourself busy and stuff and keep your mind going, you know, it's good to have that outlet, because having any type of, yeah, you know what I'm talking about, don't you, Chaerck? Yeah, you know, I thought the same thing. I said, what's wrong with a shameless plug, right? But yeah, if you don't have an outlet, having fibromyalgia, let me scoot myself over a bit here. Having fibromyalgia or any other type of chronic illness, whether it's an autoimmune disease, even if it's, you know, I mean, fibromyalgia and cancer are complete different worlds, right? But even somebody that's dealing with cancer, my one autoimmune disease that I have, and I am not claiming this, so I'm just going to say that ahead of time, is Sjogren's disease. And I know I've said this in past videos, but Sjogren's disease, it affects all the mucus and moisture areas of your body, any area that produces moisture or needs moisture to function correctly. And I'm not going into details. When I say that, I mean everywhere. Hint, hint. Nudge, nudge. Okay. And it's okay to laugh. It is kind of funny. When you get to the point I'm at, you got to find funny in it, because otherwise you're going to go man crazy. But the Sjogren's will make I'll give you a couple areas. Like right now, I got major dry mouth. So, and then with having allergy issues, that doesn't help any. Yep. Well, you know, Sjogren's goes hand in hand with lupus and rheumatoid arthritis. A lot of times Sjogren's is a secondary autoimmune issue. So it's not unusual for somebody that has lupus that end up finding out they have Sjogren's. Like my grandmother had lupus, Sjogren's, and rheumatoid arthritis, the poor thing. And she dealt with it for years. But the frustrating part is these doctors. These doctors have no clue what they're doing, what they're talking about. You go to one doctor, and the one doctor will say one thing, and then the next doctor will say, oh, no, you don't have that. Well, way to work with each other, buddies. They have no clue. They're going by labs, okay? And labs aren't always correct. They're not. In my case, I have been tested for Sjogren's I don't know how many times, okay? I have teeth that are actually missing in my mouth because of the disease. Because of the dry mouth, your mouth needs to have moisture in it. When you don't have enough moisture, it actually causes, I think it's called caries, and that's what causes decay and stuff like that in your mouth. So you could take care of your teeth. I mean, you can see my teeth aren't ugly, right? They're not exactly beautiful, but I take good care of my teeth. I floss, I brush, you name it. So, and I hope I would brush, right? Ew. Anyway, but it doesn't matter. I probably take care of my teeth the best in this house, and I still lose them. It's, yeah, it's depressing, but try to do the best we can. They do have stuff out there that helps people with Sjogren's. It doesn't taste very good with their mouth and stuff like that to keep the moisture. Hey, Andrew, how you doing? So what's the frying pan all about? I have to know before I continue. Do you like to cook? I love a lot of these YouTube names, and I always like to hear the stories behind them. Oh, is it really? How cool is that? You know, I see some of the coolest last names. Well, this one's not super cool, but there was a doctor, and he happened to be a pain doctor, since we're talking about the subject anyway. And his last name was Dr. Pain. And my husband went to a dermatologist, and he needed to get a biopsy done. And guess what his last name was? Dr. Slaughter. That is not a name to have, especially if you're a plastic surgeon. Could you imagine? But that is a really, really cool name, Andrew. My maiden name was Black. I used to get tormented with it. It's a color, for goodness sakes. Kids are just so weird. Oh, and that's a cool one too. That, you know, I have a boring last name. No offense to my husband. That's super cool. Well, Andrew, welcome. So I was just talking about, you know, Sjogren's disease, just so you know. And because I don't know if you just showed up or you're just now commenting, but so as I was saying with the Sjogren's disease, it also causes dry eyes. So these are like the more common things. And then as the disease progresses, it can affect other moisture areas, including organs and things like that. And if it goes even further, people in the lymph nodes around here can get really big. That is extreme cases. Not saying it can't happen, but you know, mine, praise God, the Father, it has not affected other than certain common moisture areas. It does give me a bit of brain fog, which fibromyalgia does, and as you can tell, I'm constantly trying to think of words to say. I guess I'm showing a good example with the topic. But Sjogren's on, you know, worst case scenario, and it is exactly what my dad died from, can cause non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. So that's a cancer. And that's what I was talking about a little while ago, was that, you know, how important it is to have some type of outlet. So even, you know, if you're somebody that's battling cancer, you know, I know that cancer is completely different from say fibromyalgia and things like that. But a lot of autoimmune diseases like lupus and things can cause types of cancers and all, which sucks. And, they got a cure for it. Anyway, that's a whole different subject, and I'm going to be really careful where I walk because it's getting pretty ugly on this platform. Amen. With that, guys, please be praying for a lot of us creators on YouTube because it's getting harder and harder to be able to share the truth. And I want to give a shout out to Adam on Marfoogle. He's starting to worry me because he's saying, hey, I'm happy with my life. You guys get what I mean there. And which is good that he's doing that. But at the same token, it just scares me because that means he's concerned. You know what I mean? So I just want to put it out there, guys, please pray for him and his family. Adam's such a good guy. He's so busy. And his heart is huge. Really huge. So I just want to give him a shout out. I want to give a shout out to Shanna too on Marfoogle Reports. It's nice to see that channel growing, and it's nice to see her back because she's been really, really sick. She's still not feeling well. So prayers to her as well. And then having the fibromyalgia and things, it's normal for us to normal, right? It's not unusual, I should say, for us to deal with jaw pain and stuff like that, and grinding our teeth and TMJ and things like that. And I'm not saying Shanna has fibromyalgia, but I can empathize with the jaw pain. So, I know that it's gotta really suck. And then through all this, her being not well and everything, with I think she had like some kind of respiratory virus or something, but she was in the middle of moving, and that's stressful enough. So, yeah, God bless her. Poor thing. She is terrific. And I know Marv compliments her all the time. He's got a good one there. And Dex seems pretty awesome too. So I just want to lift up those three, give them a shout out and tell them thank you so much for bringing the truth all the time and really putting his life on the line. I mean, it's, and Dex too, because he'll do some new stuff for Adam. So I was so excited to see my painting up there when he did his live thing last night. It's just praying for him for that computer too. I'm a little concerned about that because I have family members that know a lot about computers, and they can do all sorts of things to your computer and not be actually physically on your computer, if you know what I mean. Now, it may just be a coincidental thing. He didn't have his fan underneath his computer, so maybe it just overheated. I don't know. Topics lately have been a little bit edgy, I guess you can say. I don't know a really good word with that, but happy with my life also. Yeah. Granted, I get extremely depressed, and I'll be talking about that in a second. And even if I long to be home with my Father in heaven, okay, I'm not going to kill myself. I just want you to know that, okay? I am not. I will never do that. Okay. Not going to happen. So I want to just put that out there too. I don't want to say I'm targeted at all, but certain topics that I have done videos on can cause you to be. So as truthers, we got to be really, really, really careful. I haven't done anything in a while. I needed to kind of just take a break and refocus. And then, of course, with all this jewelry making business, and Andrew, I don't know if you knew, I have an Etsy business. I've sold a few things, but like, here's one of my things. I especially love doing steampunk jewelry. So if you know anybody that is looking to buy anything that's different, because if you like me, I like to be outside the box. I don't like to do everything everybody else does. I have a store called Raven and Dove art to wear, and that's on Etsy. I'll have to put a link in the details later. So back to the topic at hand. I have been dealing with progressing issues since my 20s. If you have not seen my testimonial video, that would explain a lot of why I am where I'm at today. Wasn't an easy childhood, and probably not the worst childhoods. I mean, people deal with a lot worse, but I've always been a sensitive child and very empathetic. So I feel a lot. I can feel other people's pain, emotional pain, physical pain, you name it. So being in a house with a narcissist and an alcoholic and things like that did not make it easy. That fibromyalgia a lot of times will stem from childhood trauma. And a person with fibromyalgia, if you don't know this already, are always in constant fight and flight. And I mentioned this earlier this week. I think it's cortisol or something like that, but it's a type of hormone that your body will release in a fight and flight. So like if somebody were to scare you and your body, you get that shock feeling, or a police officer, it's right there and you're like going over the speed limit and then your body kind of goes, that's fight or flight. And a person with fibromyalgia is constantly in that. So you can imagine what toll that does on the body, right? And I've been diagnosed with, before I was officially diagnosed with fibromyalgia, I was, because I kept disagreeing with them, but I was diagnosed with small fiber peripheral neuropathy, which is a type of nerve damage. You have large fiber, which is the typical one like diabetics and stuff get. But small fiber can affect the organs and all the stuff that your body functions kind of on its own. Like I think it's like autonomical kind of things, like your heart. Your heart automatically beats. There's a signal sent from the brain and it makes it beat. Your body breathes. You don't have to tell your body to breathe consciously. It does it for you. So it affects that kind of stuff. It causes nerve pain like the large fiber does, but it's kind of on a different scale, kind of on and off. For what I've experienced with it, I'll get on and off numbness in certain areas on my body, where if you've had a scar and you like go over the scar, like say if you were to touch a scar or whatever, and it feels funny, or when you go to the dentist and Novocaine starts to wear off and it feels really weird, that's the kind of feeling I'll get. When I first started experiencing it, it was like bee stings and burning pain and things like that. I had no idea what it was, and I would tell the doctors different things like that. The only thing I did get diagnosed with was Raynaud's disease, which is another thing that tends to be secondary usually to another autoimmune disease. And that's where if I go from one temperature to another, like say I'm in a warm area and then I go out freezing, my fingers and my toes will turn color, sometimes a bluish color, sometimes white. And that's Raynaud's disease. It's common with people who smoke. I've never smoked in my life, but that doesn't mean anything either. But I went through my 20s dealing with really bad depression. I didn't have Christ then. That's changed my life. I didn't come to Christ until I was 33. What a number, huh? I always find that interesting. So other than Raynaud's, all I got treated for in my 20s was depression and stuff. Oh, you're tired because you're depressed and blah, 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 blah. And I had lost my dad when I was 20. So I did have some situational, including how, the stuff I dealt with as a kid. By the time finally got like a diagnosis with something, I finally got tested and found out I had the small fiber peripheral neuropathy. And that was because my brother, who had gotten diagnosed with porphyria, and that is a very rare disease, told me I needed to get tested. So I went to a neurologist because that's who he saw, but that's not typically the type of doctor you would go to. She got in contact with his doctor and did the same test that he was doing. And my stuff came out exactly like my brother's. In fact, one of my labs was worse than his. So they sent me to a porphyria doctor, but the porphyria doctor, see, this goes back to what I was saying, said I did not have it. But the doctor my brother was seeing diagnosed him with it, and my labs were actually worse than his. Weird. Just to give you an idea of porphyria, it's not something I want. I don't want anything, to be honest with you. I'm too much of a go-getter to be held down. But porphyria, if you look up King George, if you're just interested in knowing what that is, there's different types of porphyria. King George had porphyria, and it can cause madness. Under certain lights or whatever, if you have porphyria, your urine will be a purplish color. They have called it in the past the vampire disease. There's all different kinds of things. People with the type of porphyria that my brother has, which is AIP, in acute intermittent porphyria, I think it is, they have to eat a high carb diet. In the world of, carbs are bad, right? They have to eat a high carbohydrate diet. The worst thing you can give. Hey, Allie. I'm doing live for you. This was all for you. Do you feel special? So, what was I saying? Oh, in the world of low carb diets and stuff like that, that's a big no-no for people with porphyria. The other thing is the worst thing you can do is give them antidepressants. It will put them into a flare. It's bad. My brother gets treatments like the what are they called? There's the where they kind of take your blood out and put it back in kind of thing. IVG, I think it is. He gets those kind of treatments. He's also been diagnosed with lupus. He's got better doctors because he's up in New Jersey. I'm in North Carolina, and we lack down here for healthcare. Not really great doctors. You have to be your own advocate. You don't like the doctor? Ditch their butts. Go find another one, because that's what I've done. I've been through 2 neurologists. I like one for one thing and the other for the other thing. I went to a different one. I had already been diagnosed with the small fiber peripheral neuropathy. She goes and does the test on me again. Like, I want more chunks of skin taken out of me, right? And then she says, oh, you don't have it. Are you freaking kidding me? You just put me backwards. I had already found out I had that, which is not uncommon for people with fibromyalgia. It's also not uncommon for people with Sjogren's. And I had been tested labs constantly. I think it's like SSA and SSB, and they all came out fine, like I didn't have Sjogren's. Well, finally, this second neurologist sent me so she tells me I don't have small fiber neuropathy, but then she sends me to this oral surgeon who does the biopsy, and they take the little bumps that's right here under your lip or inside your lip, and they test those little bumps. They're actual saliva glands. You have them here, and you have them back here, and I think you have some back here. And that's the reason why Sjogren's, they can get all swollen right here, because it attacks the salivary glands. So, but it came back saying I had not non-Hodgkin's lymphoma. Oh my gosh. It came back saying I had Sjogren's disease, but tested fine, did not show any signs of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, thank God. And I have to see him once a year. They were probably the best doctors that I've had. They gave me so much information, a place to get support, and thank you. I stuck makeup on. Be honest with you, I woke up, felt like I was flaring, but I seem to be feeling a little bit better, so praise the Lord on that. Anyway, that doctor's wonderful. They give you a lot of information, support groups, things like that. You just got to keep fighting. You got to keep pushing. These doctors really don't know anything. They don't. They have no clue. My goal right now is to get myself off of the pain medicine. I never wanted to be on pain medicine. I have fought for years not to have to take anything. And then I finally got to the breaking point, and I couldn't take it anymore. And I got put on pain medicine. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Because even if you don't have the personality to be addicted, your body gets addicted. So I'll get to a certain time of day and my nose will start running. It's because my body wants more. And I hate it. I want off of it. I grew up with an addict, and I don't want to have any kind of issues. I want to go and we have a place up here that's like homeopathic and stuff like that. It's a wellness place. I want to see about getting off the pain medicine and see what they can do for me to make me feel better, or at least manage this. Like I said, I'm trying to work from the inside out. So I'm trying to do relaxation breathing, some stretching. I do some exercises and stuff in my hot tub, which is great because the water's warm. So you're not having to deal with cold water, because cold and fibromyalgia, cold and autoimmune disease, cold and nerve pain do not mix. They do not. My body shuts down. And I don't mean like shut down, like, oh, I'm not like dying shut down, but literally it's just like, it feels like it shuts down, right? And I just can't move. I can't do anything. So I didn't get in the hot tub this morning. That was because I was feeling so bad I couldn't move too well. And then I didn't get in the hot tub yesterday because I didn't dry my bathing suits. So they were wet and cold, and the hell I was putting that sucker on. I get that it's going to get wet when I get in the hot tub, but the cold, that would just be like a shock through my system. I don't want to sound like a big baby, but that's what would happen. Hey, Tony. Oh, my mom was on that medication. They took her off not that long ago. So now she's just on one pain medicine, but she was on three pain medicines, and she's got COPD. That stuff stifles your breathing. So like, that's the last thing she needed, but thank God they got her off. But it was a hard road getting her off that stuff. It's not easy. Yeah. It's nice to see people that know how I feel. I'm just like not an advocate for pain medicine. And it doesn't mean that people shouldn't have it if they need it. It's just, if there's other ways around it, there's natural stuff. I am a huge advocate for cannabis. Excuse me, guys. I got to let my neurotic dog in. Door's right here. All right. Come on, babies. Come on. Come on. Move room. No? All right. I ain't open it. She just stares at me like I'm nuts. Anyway, I am a huge advocate for cannabis because it's more natural. Of course, medical, not street drugs, because you don't know what they put in that stuff. I've never tried it, but I know people that do take it for that reason. Yep, I have muscle relaxers too. I have Flexeril. I try only to take them when it's really, really needed. And that way my body doesn't get used to it. Yes. My grandmother, I believe, was on methadone. The one that had the, you know what, you weren't here, Ellie, when I said that. My grandmother, she's passed now, but she had lupus, Sjogren's, and rheumatoid arthritis. Her rheumatoid arthritis was horrible. She also had like bone spurs in her neck and all. The poor woman was in so much pain. Now, my mother's got peripheral neuropathy. So she doesn't have just small fiber. And I don't want to say just. Small fiber stinks too. That's what I have. But she's got full blown. And then she also has muscle damage because of a stupid doctor, actually. So I'm not on here supporting doctors, if you can tell. And I've worked in healthcare for like ever. I worked for an orthopedic doctor. In fact, the gentleman who he's a very nice doctor, mind you, but he's ignorant. The one that's working on taking care. See, I knew that, you know what, was going to come to the door again. You're going to stay outside. She can be a little bee. I love her, but anyway, the one that's treating me for my fracture foot, he is not a believer of fibromyalgia. Either is his partner. He's not a believer of fibromyalgia either. So you can imagine the judgment he had on me when he saw my list of medications and my ailments. And when he came in, you know, because usually they'll give you pain medicine or something when you fracture foot. And I told him I didn't want anything. And he said, well, I wasn't going to give you anything. I'm like, okay. I'm just letting you know I don't want anything, because I know that there are pain pill seekers out there, and I'm not one of them. Okay. I went off the damn stuff. But then they think I'm just putting an act on. And I'm just so sick and tired of being stereotyped. I really am. I just, it pisses me off, because I am not a pain pill seeker, nor did I ever want to be on it. The only doctor that ever understood me is the one that finally talked me to get on something because of the amount of pain I was in, and they got rid of her. Yeah. So I don't even have that healthcare provider anymore. So that stinks. I really can't stand these doctors. They have no clue. They go to school for like to learn medicine and everything, and most of them have no idea. They're ignorant. They don't keep up on studies and stuff, you know, to find out the new, you know, things that they've found out on different things. Fibromyalgia has come a long way. They actually see an area in the brain that's not functioning correctly, that's causing fibromyalgia. They found out that most fibromyalgia patients have small fiber peripheral neuropathy. Okay. And there's so much information on it now than there was. And yet we still have to fight to get Social Security. And if we were to continue to work like I did for all those years, I fought and fought and fought to keep on going, then we get fired because we've called out too much, or we kept messing up because of the fiber fog, or for forgetfulness and stuff like that. And I'm mad. I'm really mad. And, you know, I was saying that I make jewelry and things like that. I think I'm going to come out with a bracelet that is for Spoonies. So, and it will be, you know, like a dedication or awareness for fibromyalgia. So tell me what you guys think about that. And yeah, pain is legit, and so is fibro. Exactly. Now there are people, I'm sure, out there that either they're addicted to pain medicine, so they just want to, and unfortunately that's what causes the problem for us who legit have an issue. But yeah, well, I was getting there with my job, Tony. I was very close. And so after being there for almost 10 years, I didn't want that on my record. So I went and had my doctor sign me out of work. I was hoping to go back, and then it just kept progressing. And with that, since we're talking about that, I mentioned it this week. And I know some of you, it touched a spot in your heart that you guys either dealt with or understood, or both. it causes a lot of depression, because what happens is, and I'm going to try not to cry. What happens is you start losing friends, because, you may have had to cancel a couple, plans that you guys made or whatever, or they just assume that you're not going to be able to do anything anymore, so they don't invite you. Um, uh, they stop calling you, nobody checks on you, or maybe some people think, I'm not saying this in my case, but maybe some people think that you're just being a baby and they just don't want to deal with you. Because I know that there are some people that have had to deal with that themselves. And then the other thing is you feel like a loser. And I really hate saying that, but I know that's what I had been dealing with, and occasionally still do, but I'm working on it. I felt like a loser. And my husband's a hard worker. We were both hard workers. And he's really hard worker. And he's got his own health issues too. And I just felt like I was a burden on him. He never made me feel that way. It was just me. The enemy likes to get in there and take thoughts of your own and just kind of use them against you more and more. I mean, half the time there's nothing he needed to say. He could just use what I was already telling myself. And you just like, oh, I don't have a job. And it's like the job is what defines you. No, it doesn't. And I knew that, but I just felt just super depressed. But I was blessed that I had disability from my insurance company through my job. But then earlier this year, they canceled me. Yeah, they were sneaky. Hartford went to my rheumatologist. Now, my rheumatologist does not treat me for fibromyalgia. She doesn't treat fibromyalgia patients, which is odd because usually you go to a rheumatologist. I fired the first one who was treating me for the fibromyalgia. He was a jerk. He, even though I got diagnosed with the Sjogren's, said that I didn't have it. So I was like, well, I don't want that progressing. I need to be treated for it. So I went to a different rheumatologist, but had to stick with my family physician for the fibromyalgia because the rheumatologist didn't treat for the fibromyalgia. Now, the rheumatologist was wonderful with the Sjogren's. She says, yeah, you have it. And yeah, you have small fiber peripheral neuropathy. And she says that she does not treat labs. She treats the patient. Beautiful. I wish she could treat me for the fibromyalgia too, because she's a wonderful doctor. But unfortunately, what Hartford did is went to her and asked if I could work. Well, naturally, for the Sjogren's, because it has not advanced, I can work. The Sjogren's is not keeping me from working. It's the fibromyalgia. So guess what they did? Instead of going and checking with the doctor who's actually treat me for the fibromyalgia, they canceled. Yeah. So I'm still in the process of trying to get Social Security. Of course, they denied me the first time, even though I failed some of the tests at the place that they sent me. Whatever. And I am trying, I'm appealing. So, which they'll probably deny me again, because that's usually the process. And you gotta love the government, since they're probably the reason why we all have fibromyalgia and autoimmune diseases. Anyway, I really don't want to have to depend on them anyway. I really don't. But see, I'm losing track of thought, and I don't want to keep you guys on here too long. Oh my gosh, what you're saying is me. Yeah, and I think we all can relate to each other. We pretty much all deal with the same thing. You lose your friends, you get depressed because you don't have a job to go to. My job was my safe haven. I'm a caregiver too. Yeah, let's add more stress, right? So the very woman that, and I love my mom, don't get me wrong, but the very woman that's caused the childhood drama that I have, that's probably triggered the fibromyalgia in me, lives with me, and I take care of her. So that's added stress, So when I would go to work, granted, I was stressed going to work because I'd be worried about her here by herself. that was my outlet. That was like my place, to get away. I would call it my safe haven, my sanctuary. I didn't have that anymore. Now I'm at home, the pain was getting worse. The pain makes you depressed because you can't do anything. I've always been very active. How it started to get worse was I was in martial arts, and what was happening is I wasn't able to do a lot of the stuff anymore. I would collapse. My legs would just literally give out. And I was strong. So muscles wise, but that started to happen after I had to have a surgery. And that's so typical. Usually some kind of traumatic event. It could be a car accident or something like that. It can trigger that. And so it's been like a downward spiral. And so that's where I'm at now. Now, recently, you may want to check him out. He may blow your mind a bit, like, whoa, this is too heavy, but I am a Christ believer. I love Jesus with all my heart. Maybe not completely with all my heart and soul. I'm going to be honest with you, because there's things that I mess up and do all the time that would say that probably not. But as much as I can truly love him, I do. We're working on that. I'm a work in progress, aren't we all? But anyway, I started watching Global Ministries. This guy's name's Derek Burrows. It's been so good for me. It really has. You want to check him out. The Lord is working through this man, and he helped me wake up to some things. And we all know that how corrupt the certain church that starts with a V. Well, C, but the people that you know where I'm going with this, have corrupted a lot of things. So let's just say there's a lot that we thought we knew that we really did not know. And my mind has woken up, and it's actually been quite freeing. So yes, he is amazing. And it really started out with Jacob Israel. Jacob Israel started getting me thinking. And so my relationship's gotten really much stronger with Jesus than it ever has been. And I thought that I had a pretty strong relationship with him. Not everything I agree with these channels. I do want to put that out there. It doesn't mean that I'm wrong. It doesn't mean that they're wrong. I could be wrong. They could be right, or the other way around. But I do like somebody. I'm going to move this forward because my back's starting to hurt. I do appreciate somebody that challenges me and makes me look. You know what I mean? When you can actually this has got me really interested. I'm going to go check it out, and makes me hungry to look into it. I appreciate those people. And I really believe that the Father's using them. So, check them out. If you haven't checked them out, oh, she's beautiful. Malia is gorgeous. Gorgeous. She's such a beautiful person inside and out. Check them out. They're really, really awesome. If anything, it'll make you dig. Okay. Even if you don't agree, it'll make you dig. So that's really got me wanting to take care of myself. But Jacob Israel, he had talked about what was happening with him. He was under a lot of stress. He got Crohn's disease, and that's an autoimmune disease. And he started, really leaning on the Lord more and changing his life, and that really, really, you're welcome, Allie. It really inspired me. I said, you know what? I'm not going to get better, or at least attempt to get better, if I don't change some things in me, right? And so that's what I'm trying to work on, and maybe we can support each other together. I'm going to do as much as I can. I'm going to try to do it a daily. It won't be long like this, but since this is pretty, I'm looking at this as more of an intro kind of thing. Maybe we can give each other support, because we're not going to get it from a lot of other areas that we used to be able to count on, because people don't get it. They don't understand. They don't. Sadly, they don't. And you find out who your real friends are, guys. You really do. I'm sure you can probably give me an amen on that. People aren't who they thought who you thought they were sometimes. And sometimes it's not so much that they're bad people. It's like really hard to explain. It's just that, maybe it wasn't really meant to be anyway. Maybe your relationship with them really was never meant to be. Maybe it's a blessing that you guys pull away from each other. I really do believe that everything happens for a reason. I don't believe in coincidences. Even what I'm going through right now. Exactly. There's a reason yes. See, no coincidences. If I can bless just one person, with my challenges, with information that maybe somebody doesn't know from my research on it. Because if you don't research your ailments and things like that on your own, you're never going to grow in it, and you're never going to be a good advocate for yourself when it comes to these doctors. A lot of them don't like me because they're threatened by me because I tell them like it is. I'm from Jersey and I'm sick of the bullcrap. And I tell them, look, I mean no disrespect, but this is my body. This is what I'm dealing with. I'm not insane, okay? You can think it all you want, but I am completely sane. I want to be better, and you're not helping me. So I'm going to a different doctor. And that's how I am anymore, because I am done. Yes. Narcissism has taken. Yep. She was probably, speaking of narcissism, my mom's a narcissist. There's other people in my family, not naming names because I do not want to insult anybody, that are narcissists, that have been diagnosed narcissist. I love them. Of course, they're my family. But people who have fibromyalgia, a lot of times typically are people who feel a lot. Okay. You're usually empaths, you're usually highly sensitive. And okay, bye, Andrew. It was great having you here. I really do love your last name. It's super cool. I like cool names. Anyway, it's just, you got your usual Smiths, and, nothing against it, but, they're just so common. But to see somebody with a really cool last name, it's awesome. Anyway, see, I've lost my track of thought. It's not your fault, Andrew. It happens. Oh, well. Anybody remember what I was saying? Oh, narcissism. Well, I worked with a woman who was a complete narcissist. I mean, like, probably one of the worst ever. And what my job was my sanctuary, like I was saying. She made my life a living hell. And I gave her that power. So, I mean, a lot of it's my fault. You can't give them that power. You can't. And I'm learning right now how to handle that. But yeah, they're tough ones. They'll suck you dry like psychic vampires. They will get their fangs in the end, just suck you dry. And people like us that deal with what we deal with, we have to put up a barrier. You're going to have to learn how to set up boundaries, what you will let in and what you will not let in, because what we let in, because we're in that fight and flight constantly with this stupid ailment, it will stay there because we don't release it, right? So what I'm trying to learn right now, one, I'm learning myself. One, I'm learning boundaries. Two, I'm learning how to deep breathe, how to relax my body. If you ever feel up here, and I bet you ladies are the same way, is tight. I mean, I can't penetrate that. Okay. That's not from lifting weights. I am always tense and stressed. There is constant. I can't even put my arms up over my head. Not fully. And that's because of the fibromyalgia. I mean, that's years of just taking things in, not letting them go. So now I'm just going to have to exercise that. And when I look in the mirror every day and I try to look at myself naked, okay? And I tell myself that I am beautiful. I tell myself that every day until finally, after it usually takes about 3 weeks to create a habit, I will believe it. When you tell yourself every day that you're a loser, that you're never going to be worth anything, that nobody loves you, that anything you could think of that's negative, you believe it, because over time, it's become a habit and you really believe it. You got to break that habit. Habits can be broken. It's just a matter of being, continuously fighting against it, telling yourself the opposite. I really believe in that whole positive, affirmation kind of stuff, mantra, whatever you want to call it. It probably started in my teens, Tony. But it was my 20s that I actually started getting certain symptoms that I was noticing. So I had depression issues when I was a teenager because of the environment I was growing up in. And then when I got to my 20s, I started feeling bee stings and stuff like that in my feet and all. And my feet would go numb, especially if I put a pair of roller skates on, and any type of vibration on my feet was causing numbness. So I would totally lose feeling in my feet and stuff. Notice that climate changes, going from warm to cold, my fingers and my feet were changing colors, and I ended up finding out I had Raynaud's, which is an autoimmune disease. So I did get diagnosed with that in my 20s, but I didn't get diagnosed with the small fiber peripheral neuropathy that actually started in my 20s until I was 30. It was my late 30s. I think it was 37, maybe. And then I didn't officially get diagnosed with fibromyalgia, although she had it on my chart, but I didn't accept it until 2 years ago because I worked with doctors who didn't believe in it, so I didn't believe in it. But to come to find out, they're just ignorant. There's been so much studies done on it, and they choose not to believe it. So, and I'm sure there's so much more they still don't understand on it. You know what I mean? But, yeah. So this is what I'm choosing. This is my journey right now. I'm choosing to work on me. I'm choosing to work on the internal me, how to handle stress better, deep breathing, and stretching and things like that. Like I was saying with the hot tub, because the water's hot, I stretch a lot better in there. And I also do my exercises in there because of losing my disability with Hartford and not able to get Social Security. I don't have income coming in. So we only have my husband, but I want to give praises to Jesus because God the Father and Jesus is just so wonderful, and the Holy Spirit inside me that just constantly speaks to me and says, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay. He's providing. So we're doing all right. And my husband has to remind me, stop stressing, Danielle. There's no need to stress. He's taking care of us. We don't feel deprived whatsoever. So, it's a matter of me keeping the faith and knowing that he's going to take care of us. In the mornings, I'm a good 8 pretty much every day until I take my medicine. Yeah. It's hard to move in the mornings. That's probably my worst part of the day. And I will hold out until 4 o'clock before I'll take another pill. So I'll take that 6 in the morning, and then I will push myself. I can take it up to 3 times a day, but I don't want to. I really wish I could only do 1 time a day, but unfortunately I'm not there yet. So I take it usually around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And that's just me pushing. So the pain levels start creeping up again, about a 6 or a 7 by that time. It's enough for me to not be able to handle it. 1990s. Oh, I've suffered with migraines since I was a kid, so I can totally empathize with you on that. They never really, I think a lot of the migraines I have is because my mom was a heavy smoker. And what's your pain level, Allie, on a day-to-day scale, if you don't mind me asking? Give you a moment. And you can say, don't want to say anything. It's totally fine. But I care. And I want you guys to know, Allie, I started praying for you this week when you were leaving comments. Tony, I'll be praying for you as well. We got to stick by each other, you know what I mean? Because nobody else, I don't mean to sound ugly, but other people aren't going to. And I'm not saying I don't have anybody that doesn't care and aren't looking out for me. I do. I'm very blessed there. But I do have people that I don't hear from ever again because, that was my mom, Tony. Yeah. If you get time, I have if you haven't seen it, my testimonial video. I think it's about 40 minutes long, but I talk about that. I had the same thing, and I'm sorry to hear that she passed so young. We need our moms. Oh, I'm glad that you don't have too much pain. The fatigue sucks. And fatigue can be totally debilitating because I have that along with the pain. And sometimes the fatigue can be even worse depending on the level of your pain. Excuse me, but the little bee is at the door. And I'm probably going to be closing out soon, but I want to share just a couple more things with you guys. Come on, Ruru. I don't know if you can see her behind me on the couch here, but there's my Gracie. Hey, Gracie, lift your head, honey. Gracie. See her? She just lifted her head. There she is. She's in pain. She's 9 years old, and she's got arthritis really bad. Love for All, one of my subs, said to get glucosamine for her, so I'm going to try it. Yeah, fatigue is definitely debilitating. If you don't mind me asking, I'm assuming one of the conditions is fibromyalgia, but what's the other condition? You're 7 on the pain scale. Yeah, and the depression sucks. I mean, I was getting to where I was wanting to die. I was like, Lord, I want you to take me home. I'm no good to anybody. And yeah, it was bad. It was bad. But I'm getting past that. It's hard because the pain alone and even the fatigue can make you really depressed. I mean, because you don't do the things you used to do. You can't do the things you used to do. Or then you'll get a moment where, wow, I'm feeling better, and then you'll overdo it. And what does it do? You used up all your spoons and you're back to square one again, depressed because you feel so crappy and blah, blah, blah. That's why try it out, Tony, if you haven't been doing it already. I'm trying the positive. I'm trying to be more positive with myself and saying stuff over and over again to hopefully I'll start feeling that way. I have to tell you, I mean, already this week, I'm noticing a little bit of a difference. That's exactly what I was doing, Tony. Oh, I'm so sorry, Tony. I know how you feel. I'm like fighting the urge of burning in my eyes. It sucks. I really wish people would understand how hard it is, because it's not just a physical thing. It's psychological. That physical thing will torment you. And apnea and a rare condition. Okay. Oh, I've never heard of visual snow syndrome. Oh, I got stomach issues. No fibro. Okay. For some reason, I thought you had fibromyalgia. It was probably because you were just interested in me talking about that. Yeah, it's not unusual. Like the Sjogren's disease, even though the Sjogren's hasn't progressed, it can cause fibromyalgia because Sjogren's is what caused the small fiber peripheral neuropathy. And then what happens is dealing with chronic pain and other issues, it kind of triggers the fibromyalgia. So most people who have autoimmune conditions have fibromyalgia along with it. Like my brother having the lupus, the porphyria, and everything. He has fibromyalgia, but that's like down at the bottom of the list because of all the big stuff that he has. And I probably have other autoimmune diseases, but because these doctors have no clue what they're doing. And my labs are good, thank God. So I'm not having any type of organ failure and things like that. Unfortunately, it is affecting my brother's organs and stuff. And that's where me and him are different. Yeah. And see, I was heavy into martial arts. I totally get you, Tony. Really. I mean, I was competing and stuff at my age, I'm now in my 40s. I was my late 30s, but I was fighting kids, I was sparring with kids and stuff like that. But I totally understand. And it's like when you have something like that and then you can't do it anymore, that depresses you enough. My advice, guys, and this has been helpful with me, even on your really bad days, because sometimes we're just so bad that we can't get out of bed. Okay. And those days, you're pretty much just get the rest that you need and don't worry about doing anything. But on days where you're not feeling the greatest, but you're good enough to sit downstairs in a reclining chair or whatever your comfy spot is. I love my reclining sofas and stuff like that. Have an outlet. If the outlet is reading a book, if the outlet's your Bible, if the outlet is doing jewelry like I do, or painting. I also paint. I don't know if you guys are sub to Edge of Wonder. You can't really see it right now. I'm going to bring it up closer, but that's an Illumidonkey that I'm doing right now for Rob. So, eventually that sucker's going to get done. I'm a procrastinator, but just got too many projects going on at once. But having an outlet is good for the soul and good for the mind. So have an outlet. Find something you enjoy. If it's movies, you like sappy movies or funny movies or whatever your outlet is, have an outlet. That's going to help you a great deal. Oh. Tony, I'm definitely going to be praying for you, hon, because you really need it. I have a friend that's at my local church. I'm taking a break from there. That's part of my thing right now as I decide what we're going to be doing and stuff like that, because we're even thinking about moving, simplifying. Clean out our lives, which would be good. And I know that I'm not going to say her name or anything, but I know that her family is and her, along with her, are all struggling right now because her depression and her fibromyalgia. It affects the family too. And it's not like we're purposely trying to do that to them, but I pray, Tony, that your daughter would see that you weren't trying to hurt her, that you did your best. And, she's going to have to get past that because she's not going to do herself any good holding that in. Tony, I'm glad you found me too. And I'm glad to have met you. You know what? I'm going to be closing out because I could talk forever and this is something I got to stop saying too, because I always make a joke with people. Like if they say, hey, well, when can I come out for this or whatever I'm scheduling? I always say, well, I don't have a life. So you just tell me when, I have a life. But hey, Cool Breeze. Oh, I'm so sad that you're just getting here. We're about ready to end. You gotta go back and watch. Tony, I can't believe you have a son that's 29 years old. My son is going to be 16 in July. He's so much like me, and we can butt heads. It's bad. But I'll tell you, I'm grateful to have such a good boy, because he was not being very nice to me, and I guess he gets frustrated with things. And he apologized to me this past weekend and said, "Mom, I'm sorry. I don't know why I keep attacking you." Stephanie's 33. 33 is a good number. 33 is when I started to wake up. So I'm going to claim that. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pray for you guys. I mean, I really believe that prayer is very personal and stuff like that. But I do believe that when two or more are gathered together in his name, he's right smack dab in the center of it all. And if it's going to bless you, Tony and Allie and Cool Breeze, then it's made my day. Okay. Father God in heaven, our true eternal Savior, Jesus Christ, I just ask for your comfort, your mercy, your grace, and your peace to fall upon my new friend Tony here, Lord. I ask that for Allie and Cool Breeze as well. And you know how much I love my Cool Breeze. I haven't seen him in a while. I ask that it would fall fresh upon them right now, Lord, that they would feel that peace that surpasses all understanding, and that they would be just overwhelmed with your love right now, that it would just send a warmth from the top of their head to the tip of their toes, Lord, throughout their bodies, that it would give such a healing touch right now, that you would bring Tony's pain level down to a minimum, Lord, and that you would just give some really awesome energy to both of them right now, Lord God. I lift up Cool Breeze to you as well, and I ask that you would just anoint him and bless him greatly. He is such a blessing to all of us in Discord, Lord God, and we miss him very much. And I ask, Lord, that you would bring more awareness to all these different ailments that are going on right now, Lord, and that more people would wake up, Lord. And I ask that you would bring some healing over Stephanie for Tony, and that you would heal their relationship. I ask that that you would open her eyes and help her see things from a different angle, and that that you would remove herself, just a little bit of herself. I think sometimes we get so consumed about every wrong that's been done to us that we don't see what we're doing to others, or we don't see what we're making ourselves miss out on. If I could have my dad here today, I would have it in a heartbeat. And losing a parent, no matter how broken they are, is earth-shattering for a child. Please let Stephanie see the blessing that she has, that her mother is still here and still here for her. I pray all these things in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, guys, I don't want to keep you. This is probably my longest, it's definitely my longest live, but probably like my longest video, period. It's been wonderful. It's done me good. I love you guys. I will be here again tomorrow. You know what? I'll probably like to keep it consistent. So it'll probably be about 10:30 again. Yeah, I love you guys. Hang in there, Tony and Allie. Cool Breeze, is so good to see you, even if it was for a moment. Mwah, mwah, mwah. You guys hang in there. Do the deep breathing, because I want to hear from you guys later to see how it's helping you. And make sure you check out Global Witness. If you're not supporting Marfoogle already, go over to his channel, Marfoogle News and Marfoogle TV. I think it's Marfoogle News. He's got two channels. I think it's the news one, but shoot, sub to both of them, okay? He's wonderful. He brings the truth. Keep him in your prayers, because I'm concerned that he's got himself into some danger right now with some of the topics that have been brought up on his live shows. Make sure you sub. We're trying to get him to 100,000. And share this video. If there's anybody you think that this can bless, please share it out there. I would like to try to get myself up to 1,000, just so that YouTube can actually share my videos more. When you're down this low, they don't do anything with you. In fact, they're trying to push all of us small channels out. Also, Marfoogle Reports, Shanna, that's Adam's assistant. She is wonderful. Keep her in your prayers, and sub to Marfoogle Reports. There's a lot of great information with the days we're living in. And check out Jacob Israel's channel if you're not sub to him already. These are channels that I like survive on. And also my guys, Rob and Ben at Edge of Wonder. I love those guys very, very much. I'm a mod over there. So check them out if you haven't checked them out yet. So I love you guys. This is Celestial Piper. Real name's Danielle. I'm out, so we're good. And this is Soldier of the Watch. Be blessed. See you next time. Bye, guys.